The interstellar object 3I Atlas made the impossible happen. It had already caused a stir in our solar system. Several observatories recorded the same shocking event. This included the James Webb Space Telescope. 3I Atlas seemed to teleport in space. It moved millions of kilometers in an instant. No known comet, asteroid, or spacecraft can move that. What was observed defies physics. It makes scientists wonder, are we seeing a natural phenomenon, or is it evidence of something beyond our understanding? 3I Atlas was first found in July 2025. It was found by a system for collision alerts with Earth in Hawaii. At first, it seemed another faint comet. It was approaching the inner solar system, but orbital calculations quickly showed it was unusual. Its path was hyperbolic. This meant it was not bound to the Sun. It would eventually leave the solar system completely. This made 3I Atlas the third confirmed interstellar object. The others were Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. 3I Atlas's speed and size set it apart right away. Initial estimates put its core at 5 to 50 km wide. This is much bigger than Oumuamua. It is comparable to the Martian moons Phobos and Deimos. This made 3I Atlas not only rare, but also potentially massive. It may have been one of the most massive interstellar objects ever seen. The composition of 3I Atlas also raised questions. Spectroscopic data showed an unusual balance of materials. Unlike solar system comets with mostly water ice, 3I Atlas had a ratio. The ratio was 8:1 of carbon dioxide to water. This is closer to Mars's atmosphere. It is not any known cometary body. Even more mysterious was finding strong nickel emissions. These far exceeded iron emissions. On Earth and in most comets, nickel and iron are in roughly equal proportions. In 3I Atlas, this imbalance pointed to a different formation environment, or it showed materials not yet recorded on Earth. Adding to the mystery was 3I Atlas's red tint. It was visible in optical images. Its growing coma turned into a massive plasma cloud. These anomalies quickly moved the object beyond routine study. Scientists knew it was extraordinary. This was long before the teleportation event. The event shook the world's scientific community. It occurred during a routine observation campaign. On August 25, 2025, several observatories tracked 3I Atlas. It was approaching the inner solar system. At 14:32 UTC, instruments tracking its position recorded something. No known physical law could explain it. 3I Atlas appeared in one place. It was where models expected it to be. Seconds later, it was millions of kilometers further along its orbit. It covered a distance that would have taken weeks. This would have happened even at its already incredible speed. The James Webb Space Telescope gave strong confirmation. It is located at the Granja L2 point. Webb's sensitive infrared instruments recorded 3I Atlas in two places. This happened during the same observation sequence. There was a difference of just over 30 seconds. Unlike blurring or artifacts, these two detections matched 3I Atlas's path, but they were impossible in time. There were no signs of acceleration. There were no heat signatures or gas emissions. These could have explained such a jump. Ground stations independently reported the same phenomenon. The Very Large Telescope in Chile and the Keck Observatory in Hawaii saw the shift. So did smaller observatories across Europe. These confirmations ruled out instrument error or data corruption. The European Space Agency's Gaia satellite gave accurate data. It showed a sudden angular shift. It matched the teleportation event. Meanwhile, NASA's Deep Space Network reported a brief loss of 3I Atlas's radar signal. It was as if the object ceased to exist in measurable space. Then, it reappeared further along its course. This data match from independent systems leaves no room for traditional explanations. Optical, infrared, radio, and astrometric methods all showed the same impossible phenomenon. Scientists now faced a troubling reality. 3I Atlas did not just speed up, it bypassed space completely. For decades, physics defined the speed of light and orbital mechanics as universal limits. In one event, 3I Atlas showed behavior that defied both laws. The teleportation event, as it is now called, is the most significant astronomical anomaly ever recorded. After initial reports of 3I Atlas's sudden shift spread, focus shifted to verification. Astronomical anomalies are not rare. Many cases of unusual signals were later explained as instrument malfunctions or calibration errors. The hallmark of this event was consistency across platforms. Teams from NASA, ESA, and universities processed raw data immediately. Webb's infrared images were a starting point. Engineers checked for heat interference, detector errors, and time shifts. This was done in the mirror and near-infrared instruments. All tests passed. Observations were consistent and not due to noise. Gaia's astrometric data was reliable. It showed 3I Atlas's positional jump with accuracy. It was less than a millisecond. Independent checks of timestamps confirmed synchronization. This ruled out human error in data recording or transfer. The scientific community split into camps. Each offered explanations. The most conservative view was that 3I Atlas had extreme gas venting. It released volatiles that sped it up. However, spectroscopy found no matching emission signatures. Another camp suggested gravitational interaction with an unknown body. This would be a massive, but invisible object in the outer solar system. However, orbital calculations found no anomalies. There were no issues in movement of nearby planets or asteroids. These could have confirmed the theory. More radical ideas gained popularity. Some theorists said that 3I Atlas could have interacted with a local space-time warp. This would be a natural wormhole or exotic field effect. This could explain its apparent disappearance and reappearance. It would do this without breaking relativity. Others argued that 3I Atlas's unusual metal composition may point to its alien origin. The composition was especially its high nickel abundance. It could even be an artificial object. It would have propulsion capabilities unknown to humans. No consensus was reached. All views shared the idea that the event cannot be ignored. The data is consistent, and the consequences are significant. Whether natural or artificial, 3I Atlas showed behavior. This pushed the limits of physics and made scientists rethink ideas. It made them rethink about interstellar objects. Confirmation that 3I Atlas seemed to teleport was not limited to journals. Governments and space agencies worldwide were informed after data verification. The chance that an object could instantly move millions of kilometers caused interest. It also caused security concerns. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office held talks. They assessed if 3I Atlas posed a threat. Orbital models did not show a direct Earth impact, but the teleportation event made prior path predictions unreliable. If 3I Atlas could change position in ways against classical mechanics, its path was uncertain. This uncertainty was enough to alarm politicians. Military organizations quickly got involved. The U.S. Space Command, the ESA, and the China National Space Administration redirected resources. These included satellites and radar stations. They monitored constantly. Officials worried about the object's unknown behavior. They also worried that it represented technology, not natural processes. If 3I Atlas was artificial, its sudden movement could be a maneuver. This would raise questions about intentions and capabilities. The public also reacted strongly. News agencies wrote about alien technologies or threats to Earth. Social media spread rumors. They ranged from alien probes to secret weapons tests. Stock markets were volatile. Investors tried to grasp the consequences of the event. It seemed to defy physics. Religious and philosophical leaders joined the discussion. They asked questions about humanity's place in the universe. Amid the uncertainty, an international team was created. It united experts, defense officials, and intelligence. Their goal was to coordinate monitoring. They shared data and prepared for scenarios. The scenarios ranged from continued observations to planetary defense emergencies. For many, collaboration reached levels rarely seen outside global crises. The problem was simple. If 3I Atlas could teleport once, it could do it again. Each new move could destabilize predictions. It could also destabilize humanity's sense of security. Whether a comet or something else, 3I Atlas was now a global priority. Theoretical physics was in crisis. The teleportation event confused physics. For over a century, Einstein's theory of relativity defined the speed limit. It said that no object with mass can exceed the speed of light. It cannot bypass the flow of space-time. However, 3I Atlas seemed to do both. It vanished from one place. It appeared millions of kilometers ahead in less than a minute. Such a jump challenges orbital mechanics, relativity, and causality. Some researchers tried to reconcile the data. They tried to reconcile it with existing theories. Some argued that 3I Atlas's jump was a non-gravitational acceleration. It could be caused by a sudden gas outburst. This was similar to what was suggested for Oumuamua. However, 3I Atlas showed no jets, brightening, or heat. These would have indicated such an outburst. The lack of physical traces weakened the explanation. Other physicists started studying exotic models. One theory said that 3I Atlas may have interacted with a localized wormhole. It could be a space-time anomaly. It would move from one point to another without crossing the space. This would explain its sudden disappearance from radar and reappearance. However, wormholes remained theoretical. They require exotic matter with negative energy density. This has never been seen in nature. Another suggestion pointed to space-time manipulation. This would be similar to an Alcubierre warp drive. In this model, 3I Atlas would not move faster than light. It would compress space ahead and expand space behind. It would create the appearance of faster-than-light movement. If so, the consequences would be extraordinary. It would mean that 3I Atlas or its creator used physics far beyond human capabilities. This would be if it were artificial. A third camp considered quantum effects. They cited data showing that during the event, 3I Atlas's spectral signature briefly appeared in two places. This macroscopic quantum superposition would be unprecedented. It would suggest that matter can maintain quantum coherence on scales. These scales are billions of times larger than seen in labs. Regardless of which theory is true, one fact remains. 3I Atlas showed the limits of our understanding. Physics was once a science of certainty. It was about how the universe behaves. Now it faced its most serious challenge in generations. For weeks after the teleportation event, 3I Atlas was under constant observation. All major space agencies, research institutes, and private observatories turned their instruments toward the object. What they found suggested that the anomaly was not unique. It was part of unpredictable behavior. Subsequent observations found slight positional shifts. They did not match gravity models. These small jumps, while less dramatic, occurred periodically. Gaia's accurate data continued to record angular deviations. These were too sharp to be explained by random disturbances. ESA infrared data also showed that during these shifts, 3I Atlas's spectral lines fluctuated. This indicated structural or energy changes inside the object. Some spectrographs even recorded temporary double signatures. It was as if the object existed in two places at once. No less mysterious was the evolution of 3I Atlas's coma. Its plasma shell expanded greatly, to hundreds of thousands of kilometers. But the distribution of gases and metals remained uneven. The abundance of carbon dioxide and nickel continued to defy cometary chemistry. More alarming were the electromagnetic anomalies found during the shifts. These were bursts of radio emission and low-frequency plasma waves. They contrasted the noise tied to gas emissions. These signals seemed to correlate with the positional jumps. This suggested 3I Atlas may be more than a natural body. The implications go beyond astronomy. If 3I Atlas is natural, it may open new physics of interstellar matter.